Okay, in this example, we're going to compare numbers that have the same denominator. So we have -1 and 5/6, and we're comparing it to -1 and 1/6. We're going to try this example using a number line. So I know that both of my numbers are going to fall between -1 and -2. So I can draw my number line, and those are going to be the numbers on the ends of my number line. So this will be -1 and -2 will be on the left. Now my denominator is 6, so that means I want to break my my number line into 6 equal parts. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and those are about 6 equal parts, and then I'll go ahead and label those as -1 and 1/6, -1 and 2/6, and so on, -1 and 3/6, -1 and 4/6, -1 and 5/6. And then I'll go ahead and graph my plots on my number line. So -1 and 5/6 is this spot here, and -1 and 1/6 is here. So in comparing these two, -1 and 1/6 is my greater number because the farther right you go, the larger your number. The further right equals a larger number. Which means I can put a less than symbol in here, and now my statement reads -1 and 5/6 is less than -1 and 1/6. Alright, this is example 2 from page 272. We are comparing fractions with different denominators. So we need to rewrite our fractions with common denominators. I'm going to use the little trick that we just learned to figure out my least common denominator. So a number that goes into 12 and 18, I'm thinking of 3. 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. 18 divided by 3 gives us 6. Put this little line here. A number that goes into 4 and 6 evenly would be 2. 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. 6 divided by 2 gives us 3. Put that line here, and then we make, and then 1 is the only number we can think of that goes into 2 and 3 evenly. So that's the end of our thing. We'll make a big L here. And then we go 3 times 2 gives us 6. Times 1 still gives us 6. Times 2 gives us 12. And then 12 times 3 gives us 36. So our least common denominator is 36. So now I need to rewrite my fraction. So 7/12, if I multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3, I get 21/36. And if I have 18, or 8/18, excuse me, I multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2, we get 16/36. So when I look at 21/36 36 compared to 16 36, 21, 36 is greater. Therefore, 7/12 is our greater fraction. Alright, this is the last example, example 5 on page 274. It reads, Nolan is the quarterback on the football team. He completed 67% of his passes in the first game. He completed 0.64, 3/5, and 69% of his passes in the next 3 games. List Nolan's completed passing numbers from least to greatest. So all of these numbers are written in different ways, so we're going to rewrite them all the same way. And I like decimals, so we're going to rewrite them all as decimals. So the first one we can do is easy. 0.64 already is written as a decimal, so that's our first one. The next two I'm going to pick are the percents. Those are easy. We already know how to put percents as decimal. All you have to do is move the decimal point over to the right twice. So our 67% becomes 0.67, and our 69% turns into 0.69. So now we're left with our 3/5. To turn 3/5 into a decimal, we just have to divide it out. So we're going to say 3 divided by 5. But 5 doesn't go into 3, so we have to put a decimal. Put 0, minus that our number is less than 1. And then we can just add a bunch of zeros here if we need to. So 5 does go into 30 6 times. 6 times 5 gives us 30. And that doesn't give us any remainder. So 3/5 as a decimal is 0.6. Alright, now to compare them and to order them, because our job is to write them from least to greatest, I like to match up my decimal points. So I'm going to write them all one more time underneath each other and match up my decimal point. 0.67, 0.64, 0.6, and 0.69. Okay, so 0.6 doesn't have a number in its hundredths place. Okay, so that's going to be our lowest because it's the closest to 0. On a number line, it would be the closest to 0. So our first number is 0.6. Second, we can just kind of compare the numbers in the hundredths place. So in order, they go 4, then 7, then 9. So that's simply the order of our numbers. 0.64, 0.67, and last but not least, 0.69. And if we convert them back to their original format, how their number was originally written, 0.06 was 3/5 first. 0.64 was already a decimal. 0.67 was 67%. And 0.69 was 69%. There we go.